A young lineage with black Atlantic roots and rumored Cappadocian connections, the vampires, once known as the Samedi, carried on business as mercenaries, spies, and necromancers, maintaining herds and confidants in religious circles and keeping a low profile. Rumor and misconceptions shrouded them in secrecy, but at the family reunion they emerged from the lies to enter into the Clan of Death. Unanswered questions still abound, many focused on their infamous paterfamilias, known in modern nights as Doc Sands. But times have changed. Voodoo isn't hiding anymore, and neither are they. Nasyon, San are stepping out in billowing dresses, immaculately coordinated streetwear, and even the occasional silk hat. Greetings, kindred. I am Voivodemekhet. Welcome back to our world of darkness, and we are going through the lore sheets found in the Player's Guide for Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition. Today, specifically, we're going over the bloodline known as the Nasyon, San, or the Nation of Blood, or as they were known in earlier times as the Samedi. They are named for Baron Samedi. They are not claiming that Doc San is the Baron himself, which is a Loa, which is a religious figure. I like the fact that they've done a very good job giving respect to the culture while still keeping the bloodline. I like them. I mean, that's basically it. I always thought that they were more respected or respectable than they were portrayed. I like the idea of the zombie-esque vampires. They are the Cappadocians who really just kind of lost control of like their forms as time went by. There is like another sentence or so to that lore sheet that has so many words in it that I can't even begin to pronounce that I didn't try. So, yes, there was more on there. I did not read it. I'm being upfront about that. But the Samedi are interesting because, as it says, that they were hired as spies. They were hired as mercenaries and as assassins. And they always had this like massive issue between them and the Giovanni. But there was always like, are they the Cappadocians? Like, where did they come from? What is happening here? They are a Caribbean brought on bloodline. Let's look at what they have to offer and see how much of the old Samedi remains in the Nasyon San. CIA shit. As an aspiring Jeed, you've learned a few tricks about death. One of them is knowing a lot about rot, decay, and how bodies die. By carefully examining a mortal corpse, you can immediately know the cause of death. If the cause of death is supernaturally concealed, you gain the ability to roll despite that. So this one is very interesting. It gives the ability to basically see how things died, what happened, investigate a crime scene. It gives you crime scene investigation abilities. Even if things are supernaturally concealed, you still get to roll. I also tend to laugh every time I say CSI shit. I think it's funny that it's just so blatantly blah, this is what it is. It's a fun lore sheet. I like this one. Pound of flesh. Something of your bloodline's original weakness remains with you, even as a full-fledged Hecata. In fact, you can even share it around. If you accept a gift freely given, you and whoever gave it to you receives a 3-dice penalty from any pool used for any action against one another for the remainder of the night. Pound of flesh effectively represents the concept of a crossroad deal. You have made an agreement with this person. Therefore, you cannot hurt them, and they cannot hurt you. This is represented by a 3 dice penalty towards both individuals. This is a great way to make sure that things don't blow back, that you are going to do an honorable deal. And I like the fact that this is included. I like the fact that it's a social interaction and not just some kind of physical thing. This takes cooperation. It's a lot of fun. Treat yourself. You've taken the Guide's legendary appetite to heart. Once a night, you can indulge in a meal, a cigar, an alcoholic drink, or a sexual tryst, just as a human would, regardless of any penalties which humanity might inflict, and incurring no negative effects in terms of hunger. Your consumption thereof appears convincingly human to anyone paying attention to that kind of thing. Once a night, you can eat, drink, smoke, have sex without any kind of vampiric penalty. There is something about the relationship between wraiths and the Nasyon, the nation Sanan, that really does make this clan amazing. You get to actually enjoy the things, almost as if you're accepting an offering, the way that Loa spirits would. I do like the fact that this is in here, and the fact that it lets you just convincingly be human for a bloodline that was so convincingly not human for so long. It's a great turnaround, and I feel like the clan itself is probably enjoying it more than anything. My Setite friend. Your bloodline has a strange relationship with the ministry. There's a lot of overlap in interest, and more than a few have decided to join the ministry rather than stay with the Hecata. You have a connection with the ministry, whether it's one of those wayward Samedi or another follower of Set. You can ask your friend for a favor once per story, which translates to the equivalent of a 3-dot in appropriate background, such as an ally, influence, or resources. So you know a member of the ministry, be they a other Samedi or a legit follower of Set ministry member. You gain benefits, resources, influence, allies, things like that through them. You have access to a Setite cult, is basically what this is. I like the fact that it shows the relationship between these two groups. I always found the Samedi having a friendly relationship with the Serpents of the Light, which are the Sabbat ministry. Um, they have similar cultural connections. So the fact that this carries over because of common interest and things like that makes a lot of sense. And I like the fact that it also encourages you to make the ministry not just a clan, but an organization in and of itself. The ministry adopt all clans. The Hecata may be part of that, especially if you were once a Samedi. The Silk Hat. No one is entirely sure who the Bloody Doctor is, but they do know that you have his favor, and are the next in line to his practice. Whatever that is. You're not entirely sure what will happen if you step up and claim the Silk Hat of the Doctor. It may be purely political position within the Hecata, or it may invest you with fantastic spiritual powers. It'll certainly invest you with the Doctor's enemies. Before you accept the role, however, you have the effects of Mala at 5 dots, although the help comes in cryptic ways and via mysterious actions. The Silk Hat is another one of those Hecata Loresheet leadership position roles. You're going to find a lot of these in a lot of the families, which we will eventually go over all of them because it does spread out through other books. This puts you in direct leadership of the entire nation of blood. Nasyon. The Doctor is thought to be involved in the murder of Augustus Giovanni. What is going to happen to him because of this? Are there repercussions? Is the Doctor just going to step down? Is it time for him to be torpid? Is the Hecata actually suffering from the beckoning? Also, signs point to no on that one, but is there a reason why the Doc would be stepping down, or has the Doc gone missing, or is the Doc dead? That is up for your story to decide. But you, as an individual who has this point of the Loresheet, the silk hat, will be stepping into that position and getting all the benefits and negatives from that. Having a leadership role in a game, especially one of this magnitude, is I don't know. I really feel like it's a enjoy this story, but it might be time to put your character to pasture at that point. And those of you who know me, who play under me, or who storytell with me, will know that I'm massively against telling people that it's time to retire a character. I like the idea of letting them play out as long as they want to play out, or until they pass. Character-wise, not player. But this is kind of big. This is in charge of an entire faction of the Hecata. So, not really sure where I see this. I've never had anybody take this level of the lore sheet, and if they have, they've never enacted on claiming the Silk Hat. But I don't know. There is a lot to consider in that one. I'm kind of interested in knowing what your opinions are. So if you have anything that you want to say about the Silk Hat and what this actually means in gameplay, please be as descriptive as you want, but put that in the comments. I'm very, very curious in knowing what the community's thought is. So that was the lore sheet for the Nasyon, the Nation of Bloodline Samedi for the Hecata. There's a lot to unpack when it comes to the Samedi. They are definitely an interesting aspect of the world of darkness. I kind of miss the old powers that they had. Thanatosis was a lot of fun, but I could also see some really fun amalgams being made up with like Oblivion and Obfuscate, Oblivion and Fortitude mixing together to give them something that seems theirs more than anything. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this lore sheet dig. I am Voivode Mekhet. This is Our World of Darkness, and I will see you in the next video. Good evening.